Absolutely disgusting. Biden has declared WAR on cryptocurrency with one of the worst moves in American history. This will go down by far as the single biggest mess up that he has made throughout his entire career as a politician. However many 500 or so years he has been in Washington, D.C. This is by far the most disgusting and pitiful thing I have ever seen in my entire life. I cannot believe we're even going through this to any degree right now, and it's time to expose exactly how bad it is and why it's so much worse than you even could imagine. As you come into live, make sure to press that like button, subscribe with the notifications on, because I need your help. I need your support to call out these powerful people who are doing disgusting things. And Elon Musk just responded to me on Twitter only 2 hours ago, saying this is unjust. We're talking about government officials in Washington and how they are screwing us over time and time again. Each and every single move these people are making is simply hurting the American people more than it's helping. And it's time to get that anger level up. Elon Musk and I talking on Twitter a little bit about this, which is fun to say, but that's the only bit of fun I'm going to have in this entire live stream, because what's happening right now is truly, remarkably disgusting. As this article puts it, Bitcoin bounces at 20K as Biden fights 50 million American citizens who own cryptocurrency. Yeah, that's a smart idea, buddy. Why don't you make 50 million people mad and then see what happens? To go into more details, President Biden, on top of other things that are terrible that he's doing, is planning to potentially raise capital gains taxes from 20% to 40%. That's, of course, referring to capital gains taxes that are at the point of a year or not. So a massive gain could be completely and totally negated by 20% of what it would have been. How in the world are you going to automatically and all of a sudden change the entire way the economy is run solely because you want to be spending insane amounts of money? Let's go ahead and take a look at exactly what this administration has been doing. The only reason why they have to increase your taxes and why all of this is happening in the first place is because of gross negligence and extreme overspending that's been happening, especially toward the end when we had the world situation. But that's only an excuse for 1 year. There's no excuse to continue spending these insane amounts for as long as they have been doing that. See right there, this is the spending in Q1. This was still in the Trump administration. You can see a massive, massive, massive jump in spending going all the way up right there to 10.78 in terms of trillion. Then, of course, it started to go down by Q4. Then Biden took over and just walloped it out of the park in terms of spending again, even though a lot of the world situation had started to kind of tamper down in terms of what was needed with immediate spending. Still though, massive increase and still continuing to spend insane amounts per year. Now the plan is to spend 7 trillion again. Military getting a huge portion of that. It's not good at all when you are seeing us spending $1 trillion close to a year on the military, which I don't disagree with wanting to have a strong military, right? You want to be supporting it, you want to be funding it, but you don't need to spend $1 trillion a year on massively overpriced equipment, on things that you will never use, on massive, massive, massive paychecks. A lot of them then go and turn around and go directly into politicians' pockets through money laundering schemes. Disgusting misuses of power that's happening over and over and over again. And this is the single worst move the Biden administration has ever made. Not just that, there's more. They're also going, this is the audacity of this dude. I want to use much worse words here, but YouTube won't let me. The audacity for him to say, for too long, the economy has left behind working people, and while those at the top get way ahead, my new federal budget is for the middle class. No, it's not, buddy. You're planning to increase massively taxes on cryptocurrency. You're planning to put a 30% tax on cryptocurrency mining, which is one of the most profitable ways to help the economy. You're hurting the economy. You're planning his tax increase that he wants to do. They're expecting over the next 10 years for it to bring in $3 trillion. Well, buddy, you're spending over $3 trillion a year, not in 10 years. So where the heck do you think you're going to get that money from? I mean, just made the biggest mistake you've ever made trying to go after the more than 50 million Americans holding crypto. You'll be destroyed by an insane amount in 2024, and crypto will rise again. I don't care who has to destroy him. I don't care if a Democrat has to destroy him or a Republican has to destroy him. I want to see Biden utterly destroyed in the next election cycle, and I believe he just sealed his fate. This man will go down in history as the single worst president we have ever had. And that's not to say we can't have a good Democrat president. I think it's absolutely possible. There are Democrats right now who would actually be capable of doing a decent job of president. There are Republicans as well who would be capable of doing a decent job. You want someone who works hard, you want someone who has a good resume, who's strong on crime, who actually puts American security and the principles behind America, who puts those things first. You want people like that. And it's not necessarily a party thing. You just want people like that. And Biden does not represent any of those qualities whatsoever, and he's now making treacherous mistakes. And you can see the crypto market's suffering as a result of it. Down 12% the last 7 days, 8% in the last 24 hours. Ethereum down 7%, Bitcoin down 7%, hitting that 20K mark. Now, here's the good news. Now, I don't want to be all negative. The good news is, when Biden gets utterly destroyed in 2024 and he is replaced by someone who's more forward-thinking, who is younger, who is better, it could be DeSantis, it could be someone like, for example, Eric Adams, a Democrat mayor, New York City, who is very pro-cryptocurrency, has a nice policy when it comes to multiple different things that kind of differentiate himself in a big way from some of the more mainstream things on the Democrat Party, which are very, very, very bad. The Democrat Party needs to go away from that and go more towards a moderate approach. And the Republicans on a couple of things do as well, especially military spending. Republicans want to spend a lot on that. They shouldn't. You can absolutely spend less and still have the same level of security. It's ridiculous that they don't just negotiate better contracts for some of that equipment. It's ridiculous they don't even take into account the fact that people have these things that can be shot across countries and then take out literally everyone in a day, in a single day. So what are you going to do with that $1 trillion when there's 2,000 thingies? You know what I'm talking about. The A word, the B word, rather, I guess would be a better way to put it, which I can't say on YouTube. But when those things come flying, how's it going to help you to have $1 trillion that you just spent on helicopters? What's that going to do? I mean, it's just ridiculous that they're continuing to spend this insane amount. It's not just that. I'm picking on military spending. There's so many other things here. Massive social programs. They've massively overpromised Medicare. They're crashing the real estate market to some degree by raising interest rates to an insane amount. I mean, just absolutely disgusting what's happening. And so some people are saying it could be Trump. It could be. I will say, I personally don't think Trump's age, I don't think that bodes well on his resume. I mean, I know people, a lot of people love Trump, which makes sense because he was a big wrecking ball to the system and the system sucks. Like, it makes sense why so many people love Trump. But at the end of the day, Trump's age versus someone else who's younger, who's more forward-thinking, I feel like someone younger may do a better job running the country. Now, if I'm wrong, tell me. Maybe Trump will win. I personally believe, though, that we're going to see someone younger taking that office in 2024, and it's going to be hard for someone old after we've seen these old politicians doing such a bad job for so long. It's going to be hard to see someone old getting that office again. We also had Trump, who did have 4 years, and he did do a couple things where I said, that's spending too much, right? I want someone who's going to try to tamper down all of it and do it in creative ways. And maybe Trump will be that guy if he got elected again. Maybe he wouldn't. But do we really want to take that risk if we could have someone else who we know for sure would be doing it? Now, that's the question that you want to be asking yourself. And maybe you do want to take that risk. It just depends. It really just depends. But you can see, and I mean, look, I wouldn't necessarily be opposed. If it's Biden versus Trump, let me just put it this way. Biden's the single most destructive force towards cryptocurrency that I have ever seen. And of course, cryptocurrency is somewhat new of a thing, right? So maybe that's not the best way to look at it. But at the end of the day, this is just disgusting. I mean, no matter, at all costs, Biden needs to lose the next election because we cannot have this disgusting behavior continue. If Democrats would like to win, then they better nominate someone else because Biden ain't cutting it. In fact, he's doing the exact opposite of that. And remember all the lies? Oh, we're not going to raise your taxes. Well, you raised our interest rates. You raised our home loan payments. If you want to buy a home right now, good luck. You're going to be paying $1,000 more per month for the same exact home at the same exact price than you would have just a year ago. That's great. That's fantastic. So you're going to have to pay for this no matter what. They'll just make you pay for it in roundabout ways. And then also increase your taxes on top of that and keep the spending going. Why not? It's a spending party. Who cares? Just keep that spending going. We'll ramp it up again. Just make the money printer go burr. Destroy our entire country. Why not? Venezuela 2.0. What the heck are you doing, buddy? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. What the heck is going on here? Just disgusting, disgusting, disgusting news to look at right now. I cannot wait till 2024 rolls around and we can boot this guy the heck out of office. I've never felt this strongly against Biden as I have today when he has done these incredibly disgusting things. 6.8 trillion, that's his budget. He's going to be spending $6.8 trillion. Biden, why? No one in American history has ever spent this much, this consistently over this period of time. Every single year of his presidency, he is going like 3 trillion over what we are taking in. How in the world do you think it's possible to have this be sustainable? It's just simply not. You can't ramp up spending like crazy and then just say, oh yeah, we're going to ramp up taxes too. People are going to leave the country. People are already starting to do that. If we do see any of these laws get implemented, fortunately, Biden does not have as much power as he otherwise would have. because he doesn't have the full power of the government. He doesn't have all three branches. So maybe this stuff won't be actually implemented. That's the best case scenario. We're hoping that's the case, and it's entirely possible. It's reasonable to assume it's not going to be, because there are blockades in effect. There are things that are going to stop it from taking hold. Not going to lie, you're talking about the president. I thought you were Canadian this whole time. What? But I am as American as it gets, my man. No, I'm not Canadian. I was born and raised in the good old US of A, been here my entire life. That's not true. LOL says be happy. What's not true? Not sure what you're talking about. But someone said Don Lemon for president. You're crazy, buddy. You're crazy. Roseanne Barr for president. Okay, all of you are crazy. Yeah, Roseanne Barr and Don Lemon will make the country one ticket together. Roseanne Barr and Don Lemon. Yeah, Kanye West. Even Kanye West. I mean, someone said Kanye West will be better than Biden. You're not allowed to say that. You're canceled. You can't say that. You're canceled. Kanye West said a bad thing, so therefore you can never say anything positive about him ever again for the rest of his life. I guess that's how it works. We live in a weird country. We do live in a very weird country. I mean, he did say a bad thing. I mean, he probably shouldn't have done that, but still, I mean, what does that mean? Anytime someone says a bad thing, they're banned from having anything positive said about them again for the rest of their life? That seems a little harsh. Silk Road Bitcoin for sale. U.S. government linked address. $1 billion in BTC. Well, the government's starting to sell BTC as well. Maybe that's where this timing's coming from. But Biden unequivocally has shown with a bipartisan level of absolute idiocy that he should never be put in a position of public office ever again. Not only that, but if we actually start to read through this, how he has declared war, you start to look at some of the other things that he has done, which are pretty disgusting. The 30% tax on energy used for Bitcoin mining is perhaps the most abysmal of all of this, because Bitcoin mining is significantly better for the environment than other forms of banking. Now, it does not specify he's going to be doing Dogecoin mining, which is good. If you're part of the mining club, we're mining Dogecoin. So could this actually be good for Dogecoin in a roundabout way? If you want to look at it in an optimistic way, sure, but it doesn't matter. It's still not worth it. I mean, it's damaging to Bitcoin. I mean, can you imagine a 30% additional tax on the energy used for Bitcoin mining? As if to say it's bad for the environment? More environmental propaganda? The idea that Bitcoin, which is almost entirely online, doesn't require all these banking locations, doesn't require all of the extra energy used and consumed from traveling to those banks, using all of the other various financial instruments that go along with banking. They also have a lot of computers under their guide. But Bitcoin apparently is the problem. Absolute treachery, absolute idiocy. We need this guy to be out of office right now. Do we really? Let me check my watch here. Do we really have to wait till 2024 for this? I don't want to. I want him gone now. I want him. I mean, I know he's not going to be impeached, but that would sure be nice. Because I mean, I don't know who would replace him though. I guess that's the question. Can he be impeached and replace with literally anyone who's under the age of 40, please? Under the age of 50, under the age of 50 would be good. Just anyone who's not 70 or 80 years old, please. I'm begging you, please. The Biden administration attempts to hammer the exponentially growing and global industry following months-long campaign from U.S. Securities Exchange and Commission Chairman Gary Gensler, one of the worst possible ways to be introduced there. One such statement received pushback from a judge in New York this week who blasted the agency for trying to stop bankruptcy proceedings from the embattled crypto lender Voyager by claiming a token designed to help repay customers may be a security. Chairman Gensler also is at odds with the head of Commodities Futures Trading Commission, Rostin Binham, who just reiterated his belief that the second largest crypto asset, Ethereum, is not a security. Yeah, that's right. It's not. Of course it's not. Neither is Dogecoin. Not even close. But keep going. Meanwhile, Grayscale's Bitcoin ETF lawsuit against the SEC may be heading in a positive direction. This week, a panel of judges in the District of Columbia Court of Appeals questioned why the SEC would allow a launch of Bitcoin futures ETF, but not a Bitcoin spot ETF. That's a good question. What the heck's going on here? Double-sided. It seems like two-faced. Seems like it's fine for the agency to say, okay, we need some more information, but it seems quite bit of information already out there here on these markets and how they work together, and the SEC has not offered any explanation that these petitioners here are wrong. The Bitcoin's price has dropped precipitously since the U.S. government's push to squeeze the crypto industry and investors. The top crypto assets begin the week. Bitcoin did at 22,400, now worth 20,342 at the time of publishing. Stock market also taking a hit. Every single thing this man is doing is just taking a wrecking ball and swinging it with no remorse. The idea that anyone thought he was going to be for the working class, and then he did this, he betrayed every single person who voted for him in the back. He betrayed all of the people who he promised not to act like this. He betrayed all of them massively, and of course, once again, politician totally and utterly lied, pretending like it's for the middle class. It's absolutely not. He's raising taxes on everyone, not just the middle class. And there's no denying that. He also said he wasn't going to do exactly what he's doing now with the capital gains thing. He wasn't going to raise that. He's not going to take away security and Social Security, but then again, it's going to become insolvent and impossible to pay by 2033. So what's going on here? I mean, where does this end? How can we have a man this incompetent, this absolutely and utterly out of his mind, this much of a liar? I've never in my entire time covering politics felt this angry towards a single politician. It doesn't really take much to make me feel relatively pleased or happy, but it does take a heck of a lot to make me feel this angry, and he did it all. He went all out on it. I sure can go for some cheap gas and some mean tweets by now, says Jesse Castillo. Of course, a Trump reference there, but keep in mind, I really hope people kind of take my idea of a young person and run with it. I mean, I know, I get it. There's an appeal to the wrecking ballness of Trump, and the system sucks right now, and we all just want to wreck it. But hear me out. If we have someone young being put in office who's going to work extremely hard, who understands cryptocurrency, who's willing to actually relate and talk to younger people on a different type of level than any president we've seen in recent history, if we have someone who's able to come up with creative solutions and understands how the economy is working and is trying to fight for our generation, and all of his friends and the people he knows and his family is young and they really care about the future way more, I feel like that's going to be by far our best chance of fixing some of these massive things that are wrong with the country. And I certainly hope, and it needs to be someone that's somewhat unifying, doesn't have to be completely unifying, has to still be strong, but I want that to be the vision for 2024. Regardless of any personal love for a specific politician or another, I think we should keep those things in mind for 2024. If you disagree with me, let me know why. Trump for 4 years, then DeSantis, says Robbie Rose. I've heard a lot of people say that. Trump for 4 years, DeSantis rate if you're on the Republican side. Democrats are typically, I hear talk of Biden again, then some people say Kamala Harris, some people want Bernie to run again. That's what I've heard from Democrats. But as far as the 4 years Trump, then DeSantis rate, I don't think, I mean, I get it. If you're a Republican, you'd want that. I don't think that's what would necessarily happen. And the reason why is because 2024 is going to be a very polarizing election cycle. And we just saw in 2022 a massive increase in voter mail-in ballots. And those went heavily for the Democrat Party. And Trump, I don't think he knows how to actually get a lot of voter ballots like that, like in the same way that we have seen Democrats do in previous years. So if you do want Trump to win, you're at a big disadvantage compared to someone who perhaps would have a better understanding of how to get those specific types of votes, meaning mail-in ballots. And maybe Trump would know how to do it, I don't know. But you probably are going to lose if you're backing Trump in 2024 versus Biden. I hate to say it because I want anyone to be Biden. I literally hope he loses every single possible way you can slice the dice. I hope he loses in the primary. If he doesn't lose that, I hope he loses in the general. I don't care who the person against him is. He needs to be taken out from office after this abysmal cryptocurrency law that has been put in place. But yeah, I mean, I could be. I hope I'm wrong if that happens. But I don't want to see Trump versus Biden. I don't even want to see either of them winning their party's nomination. Like I said, I want to see Eric Adams and Ron DeSantis, and whoever wins, I think will do a significantly better job than Joe Biden is doing right now, regardless of which one of those people it is. Now, if it's neither of them, or maybe it's even not Biden or Trump, I mean, it could be someone else, then we're in completely weird water, and I would have to form a completely different new opinion. But that's where I stand right now. If only a loss, if you sell at a loss, says Jay Birder. That is true. And someone said, Matt, he won, said Anthony. Yeah, he did win in 2016. That is indeed true. But keep in mind, the way the voting has changed between 2016 and now because of the world situation, it is now almost entirely reliant on you being able to win mail-in ballots. If you can't do that, you can't win. And does Trump, and let me just put it this way, in 2022, Trump was trying to campaign for Republicans to win, and he did not really seem to understand the concept of the mail-in ballots. He didn't really push that hard for it. He didn't put any money towards it. right now, I don't think Trump knows what he's doing when it comes to getting mail-in ballots. Therefore, because of that, with that being such a crucial thing in an election this day and age, I don't think he has the highest chance of winning. Not even necessarily because he would be the least popular candidate. He may even be more popular than Biden. But on voting day, a lot of people get busy or can't go, or they run out of time or whatever. And so if you don't win the mail-in ballots, which is now the most important thing, you're going to lose the entire election. And I have not seen any evidence that Trump understands exactly what the best strategy is for that, but there are people who do. There are people who have already, Ron DeSantis has a proven track record in Florida of understanding how to do that. He won by 1.6 million votes in that election cycle, whereas he only won by a little bit before. Eric Adams also has a pretty good understanding of that. He was able to win by a pretty significant margin in the mayor race for New York City, despite some of those things, and get a heck of a lot of mail-in ballots. So both of those two guys, if you're a Democrat, you'd want him. He understands it better than Biden. If you're a Republican, I really think Ron DeSantis by far has the best chance of winning regardless of who the opponent is. And so you'd have to make a case to me that Ron DeSantis would be a significantly worse president than Donald Trump, and I've yet to see anyone make that case. If you can, though, I'm open. I'm all open to hearing it. Someone said Nikki Haley. No, I don't think she's gonna win. I mean, there's a time when maybe she could have, but I don't think she can now because of some of the things she said. Anyway, I'm Matt Wallace. This is Final Stand, and I'll see you in the next video.